Music videos are a multi-billion-dollar industry on YouTube, and if you look at the list of the most viewed videos of all time on this site, it's filled almost exclusively with them. Patrice Wilson is just one name in a list of thousands involved in this genre, but he is easily the most infamous, and today we'll be discussing his deep descent into madness. Patrice Wilson is an interesting person. He was born in Nigeria but moved to America in 1999. Then went on to found the Arc Music Factory with Clarence J in 2010. Wilson has had a colorful career in music to say the least, with his main claim to fame being the infamous song Friday by Rebecca Black, a music video Patrice himself produced and even rapped in. This is the most well-known example of Arc Music Factory's business model in effect. The organization would find aspiring child pop stars and their rich parents. They'd cash in on the clients' hopes of their kids making it big in the music industry, paying thousands of dollars to have Patrice produce and market their child. Although there were many would-be child pop stars, as mentioned before, the only one to gain mainstream attention was Friday, with almost all the reviews being negative, resulting in Wilson being ridiculed and mocked online, earning him the nickname Fat Usher. Patrice would make a name for himself doing these notorious songs, and from a surface level you could say that he'll forever be known as the Friday guy. But that assumption hardly does justice to Patrice Wilson's legacy on the internet. You may not believe it, but Patrice was in the center of a mystery that enraptured many and resulted in an intense month-long investigation that piqued the interest of thousands, all with the help of Ethan from the H3H3 channel. A few years back, Ethan uploaded a video titled Alice in Gold ABCDEFG. It was a standard H3H3 video, mocking a segment done by Patrice Wilson called Mr. Wilson's Neighborhood. It was an extremely unsettling version of Mr. Rogers, having Wilson look through a window at a young girl named Alice in Gold, along with weird metaphors about life and work. It almost felt self-aware at times, with Wilson's slow, drawn-out way of speaking, and the weird interactions with the children that made it seem like it was a setup of a horror movie. Ethan mocked all this, making numerous jokes about what goes on at Patrice's house, which included implications of pedo behavior and murder. Of course, these claims were in jest and mostly just jabs at Wilson rather than solid accusations, but looking back at some of these segments, you can see how many were creeped out, and why H3H3 mocked them so much. Ethan went on to make a few more videos about Wilson in 2015, when mocking another manufactured cringy pop music video called Chinese Food that rivaled the quality of Friday, and another video mocking yet another cringy music video that was actually by Patrice himself. And that was it. 2 years went by and everyone forgot about Patrice Wilson. That is until November 2017. This is when Patrice Wilson, after months of inactivity on his YouTube channel, suddenly deleted all of his videos and replaced his YouTube profile picture with a mysterious hooded figure. He started a live stream with a timer on it, set to December 1st, 2017. The livestream really started to gain traction when it was acknowledged on an episode of the H3 podcast. Post Malone was on this episode, so obviously it had a bit more people watching than usual. As they were talking, Ethan brought up the topic of Patrice Wilson.
Recently, just a couple of days ago, he erased all the videos on his channel. And all he has now is a live stream.
One live stream?
One live stream with a countdown. I'm gonna pull it up right now.
They pull up the live stream and find a countdown timer, then soon after a bathroom curtain fades into view before going back to the timer. As the podcast went on, some strange occurrences happened, and the Patrice live stream started to become even more active. It cuts to footage of what was assumed to be Wilson walking around the outside of a wooden house with a ladder against it. Then oddly enough, cuts to footage of him walking around a graveyard. Not much else was known, but it was enough. Almost immediately, the H3 subreddit went wild, throwing out theories as to what these things meant. A few smaller subreddits were established that were dedicated to the mystery, along with a few Discord servers. It soon became apparent that if they wanted to solve the mystery, they needed to find out what the footage meant. And to find that out, they needed to find the location of the footage itself. As they worked on finding the locations of those places using reverse image searches in Google Maps, the Patrice livestream showed more video. a girl being shot at and him sitting in a room seemingly talking to unknown voices, the way an insane person would, muttering names like Billy. Now they worked even more frantically to discover the truth behind all this. The cemetery turned out to be located in California, but that raised even more questions than answers. Why would he zoom in on a random house like that or go into a graveyard? Why the girl being shot at in the woods? Some speculated that Patrice's mental state was declining and that all this was a cry for help, while others called it all a publicity stunt instead, but nobody truly knew. Since they weren't getting anywhere, they decided to dig a bit deeper. Some users decided to look at website names registered under Patrice Wilson. They found multiple domains, but one in particular stuck out: sonicmedianetworks.com. Sonic Media Networks was the name of a company Patrice was working under who was producing a show called Vantage Points, a series that Patrice was helping with. After doing some digging, a Vimeo channel for the company was found, and on it there was a trailer for the show. And you know what? Partway through the trailer, the same shower curtain on the live stream was seen, as well as footage of the girl being shot at. From there, the pieces were put together. They theorized that all this was a publicity stunt for a show, and H3H3 was simply used as a way to garner more attention. The cryptic footage from before was either from the show itself or video Patrice took while on the set. Now all people could do was wait for the timer to run out on December 1st. Hundreds were watching that day, and when it hit 0, Patrice came onto the live stream and started to talk. He opened up about his personal life and why he did all of this. He explained that the house used to be his and that he had lost everything that he had worked hard for his entire life, talking about how he was first introduced to music, how he made it his passion, and how he attempted to pursue a career in it despite his father wanting him to become a doctor. He did all this not to promote his new show, but rather to try to get H3H3's attention. He talked about how he knew the H3 videos were jokes, but said the accusations of pedophilia and assault slandered his name, and had taken away many potential job offerings, even saying that the IRS had noted him down. He mentioned redeeming himself and clearing his name, and talked about several emotional and personal issues that had haunted him for years.
And then seeing with what the press, what people like H3 said about me, for all the false accusations, it just burnt me, and I'm like, I can never keep living if I don't deal with this and share my experience.
He said that he hoped his story would serve as a lesson about how seemingly harmless jokes could ultimately ruin someone's life. Patrice then released what was essentially a diss track to Ethan called Hate Me and another called Split. Both of these videos had an overwhelmingly negative reception as well. After this, he left the channel in the hands of an energetic young girl named Maddie Shy, who explained in a video titled Who Am I that she's a 15-year-old high school student that was handed the channel. In the channel bio, it mentions that she made a song called Stronger Now, which was produced by, you guessed it, Patrice. This drama by Patrice Wilson on a surface level is simply a publicity stunt to promote an Amazon Prime show. But if you dig a bit deeper, you'll find an extremely sad story of a washed-up music producer who couldn't handle the pressure and had his reputation forever scarred as he struggled to maintain a steady source of income to keep pursuing his dreams. He lost his home, he lost his car, he lost potential job opportunities, and anything he made on the internet was immediately bombed with dislikes and hateful comments. He's a forgotten name in the music industry, forever to be known as Fat Usher even after losing the weight. And his crowning achievement of his career is creating one of the most disliked videos in YouTube history. The message about the sad state of his life told at the end of the live stream was written off by many, and Ethan never acknowledged it. To be fair, there was no way H3 could have predicted the popularity of their videos about Patrice, and much of the hate directed towards him also came from the Friday music video rather than Ethan. But it's hard to deny that those videos mocking his music had a personal impact on him. It is unknown what Patrice does for a living now since he has erased his presence online almost completely, but a YouTube channel named PW Official released a video about 4 weeks ago saying that something was coming October 31st, which turned out to be a new song by Patrice called La La La, so we'll just have to find out what happens next. While the main mystery of today's video ended up just being a publicity stunt, it did shine some light on the sad state of Patrice's life. Even though he was mocked a lot, his business model did work for quite some time. But the internet is a very cruel place that can take everything away from you at a moment's notice. And that's the scariest thing we've covered, at least I think. So I'll end the video here, and until next time, thanks for watching.